The United States and China, the world's two largest economies, have been locked in a bitter trade war for years. This ongoing conflict has not only strained diplomatic relations, but has also had far-reaching consequences on global trade and economic stability. The tariffs and counter-tariffs imposed by both nations have disrupted supply chains, increased costs for businesses, and led to higher prices for consumers. This conflict has had a ripple effect across the globe, creating uncertainty and volatility in financial markets. Investors have been on edge, closely monitoring every development and statement from both governments. The stock markets have experienced wild swings, with each new round of tariffs or negotiations causing significant fluctuations. Businesses and consumers alike have felt the pinch of rising prices and disrupted supply chains. Many companies have had to rethink their sourcing strategies, looking for alternative suppliers or even relocating production to other countries. Consumers, on the other hand, have faced higher prices for everyday goods, from electronics to clothing, as the cost of imported products has risen. However, a glimmer of hope emerged recently when both countries agreed to a temporary truce, sending a wave of optimism through the global economy. This agreement, though not a permanent solution, has provided a much-needed break from the escalating tensions. It has allowed businesses to breathe a sigh of relief and has given investors a reason to be cautiously optimistic. This unexpected breakthrough came as a welcome surprise to investors and businesses alike. The announcement of the truce led to a surge in stock prices, with markets around the world reacting positively. Business leaders have expressed hope that this could be the first step towards a more comprehensive and lasting resolution to the trade dispute. For months, anxieties had been running high as the trade war threatened to escalate further. The uncertainty had made it difficult for businesses to plan for the future, and many had put investment and expansion plans on hold. The constant back and forth between the two governments had created a climate of fear and hesitation. The prospect of a prolonged conflict had cast a shadow over the global economic outlook, fueling fears of a recession. Economists had warned that if the trade war continued, it could lead to a significant slowdown in global growth. The uncertainty had also affected consumer confidence, with many people choosing to save rather than spend, further dampening economic activity. The recent agreement, though temporary, provided a much-needed respite, signaling a potential thaw in relations between the two superpowers. While it remains to be seen whether this truce will lead to a more permanent resolution, it has given the world a reason to hope. For now, businesses and consumers can enjoy a brief period of stability, and the global economy can take a moment to recover from the turmoil of the past few years. At the heart of the agreement lies a mutual decision to roll back some of the punitive tariffs that had been imposed on each other's goods. This move marks a significant shift in the trade policies that have dominated the economic landscape between the two superpowers for the past few years. The tariffs, which were initially introduced as a means to protect domestic industries and address trade imbalances, have had far-reaching consequences on both economies. The United States committed to reducing tariffs on a wide range of Chinese imports from a staggering 145% to a more palatable 30%. This reduction is expected to lower costs for American businesses that rely on Chinese goods, from electronics to textiles, and ultimately benefit consumers through lower prices. The move is also seen as a strategic effort to stabilize the market and reduce inflationary pressures that have been exacerbated by the high tariffs. In a reciprocal move, China pledged to lower its own tariffs from 125% to 10%. This significant reduction is anticipated to open up the Chinese market to more American products, ranging from agricultural goods to manufactured items. By making American products more competitive in China, this tariff reduction could help to balance the trade deficit and provide a much-needed boost to American exporters. This synchronized reduction in trade barriers is seen as a significant step towards easing trade tensions and fostering a more predictable trading environment. Businesses on both sides of the Pacific have long called for a more stable and predictable trade policy, and this agreement appears to be a response to those demands. By reducing the uncertainty that has plagued international trade, both countries are likely to see increased investment and economic growth. The tariffs, imposed during the Trump administration, had been a major sticking point in United States-China relations. These tariffs were part of a broader strategy to address issues such as intellectual property theft, forced technology transfers, and the trade deficit. However, the approach led to a tit-for-tat escalation that strained diplomatic relations and created economic uncertainty. They had raised prices for consumers and businesses, disrupted supply chains, and hampered global economic growth. The increased costs of goods and materials affected a wide range of industries, from manufacturing to agriculture, leading to higher prices for end consumers. Additionally, the disruption of supply chains caused delays and inefficiencies that further compounded the economic impact. The decision to ease these tariffs, even temporarily, is a clear indication that both sides recognize the economic damage inflicted by the trade war. This move is seen as a pragmatic step towards mitigating the negative effects and finding a more sustainable path forward. It also reflects a broader understanding that cooperation and dialogue are essential for addressing complex global economic issues. It suggests a willingness to find common ground and work towards a more mutually beneficial trading relationship. By taking this step, both countries are signaling their commitment to rebuilding trust and fostering a more collaborative approach to international trade. This could pave the way for further negotiations and agreements that address other contentious issues and promote long-term economic stability. The technology sector, which has been particularly vulnerable to the United States-China trade war, was among the first to celebrate the news of the agreement. Shares of tech giants like Apple and Amazon, which rely heavily on Chinese manufacturing and consumers, surged in after-hours trading. Apple, which produces most of its iPhones in China, had been bracing for a significant hit to its profits due to the tariffs. Amazon, with its vast network of sellers sourcing products from China, was also expected to benefit from the reduced tariffs. The e-commerce giant had warned that the tariffs could lead to higher prices for consumers, potentially dampening demand. The tariff truce provided a much-needed reprieve for these tech behemoths, allowing them to breathe a sigh of relief and adjust their strategies for the better. The semiconductor industry, a critical component of the global technology ecosystem, has been riding a wave of significant changes and challenges. Over the past few years, the demand for semiconductors has skyrocketed, driven by the proliferation of smart devices, electric vehicles, and the expansion of cloud computing. This surge in demand has put immense pressure on chip makers to ramp up production and innovate at an unprecedented pace. The industry also received a significant boost from the United States-China agreement. This agreement marked a pivotal moment as it helped to ease tensions between the two largest economies in the world, which had been embroiled in a trade war that threatened to disrupt the global supply chain. Companies like Nvidia, AMD, and Qualcomm, which are at the forefront of semiconductor innovation, have been particularly impacted. These companies design and manufacture chips used in everything from smartphones and computers to data centers and artificial intelligence systems. Their cutting-edge technologies are essential for the functioning of modern digital infrastructure. The chips produced by these companies are the backbone of countless devices and systems, enabling everything from high-speed internet to advanced machine learning algorithms. As a result, the performance and reliability of these chips are critical to the overall efficiency and capability of modern technology. Saw their stock prices soar. The financial markets have responded positively to the easing of trade tensions, with investors showing renewed confidence in the growth prospects of these semiconductor giants. These companies had been grappling with supply chain disruptions, which had led to shortages of critical components and delays in production schedules. The global nature of the semiconductor supply chain means that any disruption can have far-reaching consequences, and uncertainty due to the trade war, which had threatened to stifle innovation and growth in the sector. The imposition of tariffs and other trade barriers had created an environment of uncertainty, making it difficult for companies to plan for the future, which had threatened to stifle innovation and growth in the sector. The imposition of tariffs and other trade barriers had created an environment of uncertainty, making it difficult for companies to plan for the future. The easing of these tensions is a welcome relief for the industry. The easing of tariffs is expected to alleviate some of these pressures, allowing chip makers to resume more normal operations. This will enable them to focus on meeting the growing demand for their products and investing in new technologies, allowing chip makers to resume more normal operations. This will enable them to focus on meeting the growing demand for their products and investing in new technologies. The ability to operate without the looming threat of trade restrictions will provide a more stable environment for growth. This, in turn, could lead to increased investment in research and development, as companies seek to stay ahead of the competition and continue to push the boundaries of what is possible with semiconductor technology. The potential for innovation in this field is vast, with new applications and advancements emerging regularly, potentially fueling a new wave of technological advancements. From more powerful processors to energy-efficient chips, the future of semiconductors holds exciting possibilities. These advancements will not only benefit the tech industry, but also have a profound impact on various other sectors, including healthcare, automotive, and telecommunications. The semiconductor industry's positive response to the agreement underscores the interconnectedness of the global tech sector. The collaboration and cooperation between different countries and companies are essential for the continued growth and success of the industry, and the importance of stable trade relations. As the world becomes increasingly digital, the role of semiconductors will only grow in importance, making it crucial for nations to work together to ensure a stable and prosperous future for the technology sector. Section 5. Global Markets Celebrate. The ripple effect of the US-China agreement was felt far beyond the tech sector, reverberating across global financial markets. Stock markets around the world rallied on the news, with investors cheering the prospect of reduced trade tensions. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, a key barometer of U.S. stock market performance, surged over 500 points, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite Index posted even more impressive gains. European and Asian markets followed suit, with major indices in those regions also experiencing significant upticks. The positive market reaction reflects a broader sense of relief and optimism about the global economic outlook. The agreement, even if temporary, has injected a dose of much-needed certainty into the markets, boosting investor confidence and fueling hopes for a more stable and predictable future. In this segment, we turn to the experts to get their insights. What do they think about the current market trends? How do they see the future of tech and chip stocks evolving? Let's dive in and explore their perspectives. The tech and chip industry hasn't always been smooth sailing. Over the years, there have been numerous tensions and challenges, from trade wars to supply chain disruptions. Understanding this history is crucial to grasping the current landscape. So, let's take a look back at some of the key moments that have shaped the industry. Looking forward, what can we expect for the tech and chip sectors? With rapid advancements in technology and increasing global competition, the road ahead is both exciting and uncertain. We'll explore potential opportunities and risks that lie ahead, and what companies might need to do to stay ahead of the curve. Amidst the challenges, there are signs that a new era of cooperation might be on the horizon. Could this be the key to overcoming some of the industry's biggest hurdles? We'll examine the possibilities and what this could mean for the future of tech and chip stocks.